This episode is titled I Am the Night. It came out November 9th, 1992, directed by Boyd Kirkland, written by Michael Reeves, and animation by Sunrise. Featuring Kevin Conroy as Batman, Lauren Lester as Robin and a prisoner, Bob Hastings as Commissioner Gordon, Efren Zimbalist Jr. as Alfred and the ER Doctor, Robert Costanzo as Detective Bullock, Marie Devon as Summer Gleason, Brian George as Jazzman, Melissa Gilbert as Barbara Gordon, Seth Green as the Wizard and Willie. Did you realize that was Seth Green?
No.
Diane Mulder as Leslie Tompkins, Sal Viscusco as the monk, and Carmen Zapata as Judge Vargas.
Carmen Zapata? That sounds like some sort of hummus dip I just ate. Zapata, it's so good. Have you tried
it? Zapata? I hardly know her. There we go. Gotcha. All right, honorable mentions here. Sunrise animated this episode, and they previously produced the episodes that we've reviewed, which were Pretty Poison, The Cat and the Claw Part 1, Heart of Steel, and Heart of Steel Parts 1 and 2, and The Clock King. Your favorite episode.
It's not my favorite, but it's very good. Also, I've seen people on social media completely side with me that it is an S-tier episode, so thank you people that sided with me.
I've also seen people who have not sided with you, so it's divided. All right, animation. What did you think of the animation in this episode?
Let me think about it. It's fine.
I think it looks really good. I think Spectrum can really animate a Batman episode, doing things like Heart of Steel looked pretty good. Pretty Poison I've always enjoyed and think looks good. The Clock King surprisingly looked good as well when we reviewed it. So I think they do a good job.
No surprises there. I mean, it is the greatest episode of Batman the Animated Series.
Gotham felt like pretty lived in at points as well. Like the streets were actually full of people at points, which was nice and a change instead of just empty streets for the Batmobile to drive down. So I thought that was really nice. And the shot choices and character animation were like popping on screen for me. I thought this episode had a lot of depth. That's what I thought. Like there was a lot of layers. Like the Batcave had layers with like you would see the cave wall and it would move. Be some great shots here. There's a shot where like Batman picks up a thug and he's like in the foreground, blurred, and then it focuses as he throws the thug. I thought that was pretty cool for a cartoon studio to do back in the 90s.
Willie?
This episode is considered like by quite a lot of people as one of the greats of Batman the Animated Series.
Well, it was very grounded and real. It was a bit of a shock going from that silly Riddler episode into an episode where Batman is basically, having a therapy session. He's got a hump that he needs to get over, where he's like, he basically has a midlife crisis in this episode. Like,
he does.
What the fuck am I doing? The moment he sees those roses ripped up, which, by the way, I actually gasped when it happened. I was like, you don't know the gravity of what you've just done.
But also, like, what did he think was going to happen to those roses? Did he think that they were going to be preserved forever? Like, first of all, he yanked that thug down onto them, so it was his fault.
My fault. Oh, just like Gordon and my parents. It's all my fault.
And then he like looked at them like, oh my God, just like my parents, they're damaged, they're broken. But what is
you could go even deeper. You could say, well, he sees the roses break and he put the thug down on them. Therefore, the roses broke, the two roses. And if you go back, the other reason Bruce's parents died is because he desperately wanted to go see the Zorro film. So in a kind of a way, it's his fault they were killed. So maybe there's a whole extra layer going on there.
That's true.
Because Gordon also wouldn't have been shot if Batman didn't go into the building when he did.
I was just wondering, is Alfred going there every day and like replacing the roses just to keep the illusion up that those roses are going to stay intact? So like,
look at Alfred. I put those down 20 years ago and they're still perfectly intact. Still fresh. I mean, wow, where'd you get those from? Poison ivy or something? Those some good roses you got there.
They're not dead, Alfred, like my parents.
In a way, you're keeping my parents alive by keeping these roses alive.
Homeless guys just like throwing up on them. Alfred's like, oh no, I gotta do that again.
Stray dog just takes a piss on them. He's like, oh. Do you think they still got that fresh smell, Alfred? Should we have a smell? No. No need to smell them. I can smell them from here, so... They smell like dog piss. What's that? What? They smell like bliss. Ah. Blissful smell.
So the only mistake that I noticed with the animation was when Dick says to Bruce, okay, I'm going after him, and Bruce is wearing like a red or a pink bathrobe. I couldn't really tell what color it was, but at one point the shot changes and Bruce is just wearing his brown suit, and then it goes back to his bathrobe in the same
Well, he's
scene.
Batman. He's just like that.
He's just changing it quickly, yeah.
He's like, I may be depressed, but I'm going to keep you on your toes. Did you see the outfit change?
Then I'm going after him. You taught me everything I know about crime fighting, Bruce, but the most important lesson was to never give up.
Director Boyd Kirkland has been credited previously in our review of Nothing to Fear, so go back and listen to that episode if you want to learn more about his career. And writer Michael Reeves has been credited previously in our Pretty Poison review, so go back and listen to that episode to learn more about his career. As far as acting creds go, all returning voice actors have been credited previously on this podcast in their first appearance on the show, such as Bob Hastings in On Leather Wings and Melissa Gilbert in Heart of Steel Part 1. As far as new acting creds go for this show, Sal Viscusco, or Viscuso, that's how I think you say it.
Viscuso.
He plays Monk, the street thug, who's also well known for various roles in the show MASH, Sal Viscuso. Brian George plays the Jazz Man. He will go on to play many various characters in the DCAU, most notably the villain Parasite in Superman the Animated Series.
Oh, okay, cool.
One of my favorite
villain.
Superman villains. Yeah, me too. I like him a lot. He's also known for playing Babu Bhatt in 3 episodes of Seinfeld. Do you know who that character is? Babu Bhatt?
Wait, Babu? Is that the guy that opens the restaurant across the street from Jerry?
Yes.
And it's like a New York one, and he goes in, he's like, Babu, you should make it from your own country, which is like Iran or something like that. I can't remember the country.
That's the Jazz Man.
That's the Jazz Man?
That's the Jazz Man and Parasite in Superman the Animated Series. He also played Alfred in Batman the Killing Joke, the animated movie.
That's cool. That's a very good episode of Seinfeld.
Okay. I've
Very
still not
funny.
seen that show.
Because he changes the restaurant after his recommendation. This is pure Larry David stuff. And then no one comes to his fucking restaurant, so much so that he's basically has to go back to his home country now because basically Jerry ruined his business by suggesting like to open a Pakistani restaurant. I think it's Pakistani.
Maybe you should have opened up a jazz club.
That's right, Skit Scat.
And then finally we got Seth Green, who plays Wizard and the other street thug Willie. Seth Green will also go on to play Nelson Nash, the high school bully in Batman Beyond, as well as other various DCAU characters. But of course, Seth Green is very famous, and not just an actor, but as a creator, playing roles such as Scott from Austin Powers or Chris in Family Guy, and he's also the creator of Robot Chicken and loads of other projects. You didn't recognize the Seth Green? When I first heard it, even though I knew it was Seth Green, I was like, who does that voice remind me of? And it reminds me of Michael J. Fox. It sounded very like, I could hear him be like, Doc, we gotta go back to the future. You know, like, that was a terrible Michael J. Fox, but Doc.
Great Scott Wig, that was a terrible impersonation of Michael J. Fox.
Geez, Doc, this is heavy. Skit scat, I'm the jazz man. No, it's just very strange to think that that's Seth Green at quite a young age, you know, like, this came out in 92, so yeah, he was a youngin'.
Excuse me, folks. Spare some change? Trying to get bus fare home.
Sure.
Moving on to our utility belt of fun facts. This episode marks a timeline in the DCAU as Batman lays roses down each year on the anniversary of his parents' death. The last time
every day.
The last time we saw this was in the episode Appointment in Crime Alley, which means all the episodes between that one and this one means a year of time has passed. So that was a pretty quick year because there's not been that many episodes in between, but a busy one for Batman, I guess.
Yeah, well, he's like, look, we don't have to turn every one of my papers into an episode, you know? Sometimes I just beat up a guy. Sometimes it's really dark and depressing that, like, nobody wants to see it. Long court cases, families obliterated. Like, it's heavy.
Why
do you think I'm so fucking depressed right now? Christ.
This year has been rough.
It's been a rough year.
The character Judge Vargas makes an appearance in this episode and has previously featured in the episode The Strange Secret of Bruce Wayne, as she was responsible for the Great Gotham Dockfire 30 years ago.
All right.
Same judge. Then writer Michael Reeves wanted to do a 50s style crime drama like Naked City, an adult story for Batman the Animated Series, and didn't want one of the Rogues Gallery to take the limelight away from Batman. Initially, Robin would have been the one that got shot rather than Gordon, but BS&P forbid it. They were okay with an older man like Gordon being shot, but the act of shooting him wasn't allowed to be shown.
That's fine. I think Gordon is way more impactful. Because also, if Robin gets shot, then they would be like, oh, it's Dick Grayson who lives with Bruce Wayne. Like, how?
That's true.
Unless it's going to be Alfred working on him in the Batcave, which is just like, while Batman's in the background, like, oh my god! It's like, what? I was like, what do you think was going to happen, sir, when you brought a child into fighting crime? All your villains, their number one weapon are machine guns, or claws, or some big awful thing.
Like a penny.
Like a giant fucking penny, which is a bitch to clean.
But this episode, I've always known that Batman and Gordon's relationship has always been one of a kind of like, it's a pseudo father figure for him, obviously. But I haven't seen their relationship yet in this show until this episode. Like the care that Batman has and the responsibility he takes for Gordon being shot, and that speech at the end of this episode where he's like, I've always wanted to be a hero, like, like you, and he's like, you are a hero, Jim. That delivery is just, it really did like make me well up a little bit, because that delivery by Kevin Conroy is just so pitch perfect. And it's the relationship I finally been wanting to see between Gordon and Batman in this show, and I haven't seen it yet. So I really enjoyed that aspect of this episode.
Maybe if I'd been younger, could have been like you. Always wanted to be a hero.
You are a hero, Jim.
It was a little heavy-handed, I would say. They laid on a bit thick. The whole episode to me was a bit laid on thick. I still enjoyed it, though. But I like the idea of like, oh, he would have been my father's age and stuff like that.
Yes.
But it's like, we already get that he's a father figure to you. So saying that, it's just like, I don't know. I didn't, maybe it's because I was distracted by looking up Jazzman, or maybe I was not expecting such a grounded,
heavy
episode that I wasn't like, I don't think I was mentally ready to go into this episode.
That's
also,
fair.
just before that, I was watching Dragon Ball Z, and it's a part of the show where it's a lot of fun and tongue-in-cheek and very silly. And then I cut to like Batman being depressed and Gordon being shot, and a guy who is apparently the jazz man, even though he makes vague jazz references. Hey, I'm gonna go take 5 over here, right?
That's like me being like, I'm a comic book artist and I make occasional comic book references and be like, yeah, I'm the comic book guy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think so.
I'm gonna dip my ink pen into this one, guy.
Like, where you go with it?
I'm gonna dip. I'm gonna dip. My pen is to dip in.
Yeah, okay, just it's dead.
I've been waiting a long time to play taps for Gordon.
Though Barbara Gordon's first appearance in production order was Heart of Steel, this episode was the first to be aired. This is the first time that audiences met Barbara Gordon in this show by watching this episode, which was kind of weird because she's just suddenly there, where in Heart of Steel she has way more of an introduction where she's come back from college.
Yeah.
And Bruce is like,
it'd be funny.
You've grown.
It'd be funny if like Batman's like, oh my god, Gordon's been shot. We gotta go to the room. And he goes there and he sees like Barbara there. He's like, who the fuck are you? And she's like, who are you? I'm his best friend / kind of son. Who are you? I'm his actual fucking daughter. He doesn't have a daughter. He would have told me. And then someone's like, no, seriously, she is Commissioner Gordon's daughter. So does that mean I have a sister? Oh.
How is he?
Not good.
It's my fault. Should have gotten there first. Checked it out before.
Don't blame yourself. You caught the man who shot him.
Pretty fucked up when he shags her later on in another DC universe.
Yep, definitely. Okay, the police dispatch mentions the corner of Adams and O'Neill, a nod to the pivotal Batman comic book artist and writer team, Neil Adams and Denny O'Neill. And upon seeing Gordon lying wounded...
the comic book guy.
The comic book guy. There you go, there's my reference.
Neil Adams, right, kids?
He's on the corner of Adams and O'Neill. I'm the comic book guy.
Yeah, but if I was the comic book guy, I'd be making references to, like, comic book artists that nobody fucking knows. So we're like, hey, how about Ron Lim, right, kids? And we were like, Ron Lim?
What? What are you talking about, man?
I'd be like, what are you talking about? He drew the fucking the Infinity Gauntlet. It was like, oh, okay. I mean,
Whatever.
I know the book. I didn't know the artist. Well, that's on you, okay? Ron Lim. Remember the name.
Okay, so upon seeing Gordon lying wounded, Harvey Bullock gasps, "Oh my god," making it the second time the utterance is used in the series, the first being in Heart of Ice when Batman watched the security footage of Freeze's accident. So 2 oh my gods have dropped in this show. That's all we get.
Oh my god. Gordon shot. Barbara's my sister, I think.
But we fucked.
Dick did not like that.
But mine did.
I'm dizzy from all this fucking. Hey, it's all for you people that love Dave Matthews out there, especially his solo work, right, everybody? I feel like, how do people watch this show? We make so many references to very specific, niche, tiny little things all the time. That must like, I guess it just goes over people's head.
We have listeners, to be honest, because
I know.
So
how many
random
now?
Sometimes.
Thousands? Christ. What are you guys doing? It's fucking Thursday at 8:47 at night. I'm sitting, chatting absolute shit. And now we're going to me on the show, so Christ.
Whoa,
Well, bleep that out. No, keep it in. Just bleep it out. Got a big guest, guys. Coming up. Probably the biggest guest in the whole show. Oh my god.
No, stop making more work for me in editing.
Gotta bleep that one.
All right. So the convict that the jazz man confers with in prison strongly resembles Spider Conway from the premiere Killer Croc episode Vendetta, though it's unclear if this is meant to be the same character or a reused character model. We will never know.
Never know.
Not a problem, bro. Talk to Southside Eddie. He'll get you on the street and out of Gotham before the ink on your fingers dries.
So I really like the message of this episode, you know, Batman struggling, as you said, midlife crisis. He's also kind of like a petulant teenager at points, like having temper tantrum in the Batcave. I was like waiting for Alfred to send him to his room. And everyone he sees in this episode, like, I liked Batman struggling with it, but it was a bit much for me with the mopiness. He was just always like shoulders up, head down, and he's like, "Hi, Leslie. Hi, Alfred."
Yeah, I like when
Gordon.
Robin's like, "I'll go see him," and then he just like, "Hey, Bruce, like, hey, you're gonna grab mushrooms on your armpits,"
Yeah.
and he just comes around the corner like,
"Not funny."
"Shut up, dick." Fucking dick. This fucking guy.
Bruce, if you stay down here much longer, you'll be growing mushrooms in your armpits.
I should have been there.
You can't be everywhere.
I let him down.
You're being too hard on yourself.
But like, I guess it is very interesting to see a superhero be like, am I making a fucking difference? And can you blame Batman when all of like his people escape, or like the Penguin, whatever, he didn't get convicted for what he did, which is that connected to the previous Penguin episode?
That's what I have written down. I thought that same thing. It must be, right?
Now, does this mean, you're the Batman expert, does this mean that the next time we see Penguin, is it going to be in the new style when he's got like the iceberg lounge and stuff, or is there still more Old Penguin to come.
There's more Old Penguin to come.
Ah, that's a shame, because if it went to that,
Yeah.
it means he would have gotten out and been like, I'm going to build myself up and build the Iceberg Lounge and shit, but whatever.
Especially because he just got screwed over by high society, so he wants to, like, become a high society member in his own, like, corrupt way with the Iceberg Lounge. No, the episode that was yet to come is where Batman goes blind and he fights the Penguin.
Blind as a bat, I assume. Yeah. Okay. Writes itself. Me and my wife randomly, Batman vs Superman was on TV just randomly. So my wife was like, "What is this?" I was like, "Oh, let's just watch a little bit of it."
You've only seen that once, right?
I've only seen it once in the movie theaters, and when I went to go see that movie, I got an email from Marvel being like, "You're not ready to work for Marvel Comics," and I was like, "Ah, fuck!" So I just had to sit there, watch the movie, being like, "The fuck am I gonna do in my life?"
Never mind Batman and Superman's problems. What am I gonna do?
I was like, fuck. Luckily, a week later, I did get a job at Marvel, but it doesn't matter. We watched like parts of it, and she was like, "Who's this guy?" Like all these, there's so many characters. I was like, "That's Alfred." She's like, "That's Alfred, really? That guy?" I was like, "Yes, Jeremy Irons." She's like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "Very famous actor, Jeremy Irons." She's like, "Not really Alfred-like." I'm like, "No, he's not."
Scar from Lion King. Does she know Lion King?
Oh yeah, I guess so. And she was like, "Who's that?" I was like, "That is Lois Lane." She's like, "That's not Lois Lane." I was like, "That's right. Love you." She's a terrible Lois Lane, and I agree.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's awful.
And then we watched them fight, and she like cracked up at the Save Martha thing. But I will still say that I don't mind that.
Oh
and
my God!
I know I'm in the wrong and in the minority, but I kind of like the idea.
I think you secretly like the DCEU. You like the Flash?
No,
you're
like,
that was a good
fun.
I think you like the DCEU. Next week you're gonna be like, you know what, bud? Aquaman was on TV, and it's not a bad movie.
I've never seen Aquaman. The Justice League is fucking awful. I've seen both versions, for Christ's sake, and it is terrible. But there's some fun in the Flash. It's got Michael Keaton's Batman in it, and there's some funny jokes in that film.
Yeah,
I'll stand by that.
We had fun watching it. I enjoyed it.
I've never mind the Martha thing, because like it's Batman's opportunity to like go and save like one of his parents, and I think that's really nice. I said to her, I said, if someone said to me, "Save Penny," and I was in the middle of a fight, I'd been like, "What did you just say?" And if I had the chance to save,
you dropped a penny, and you should save it because wasting money is not good.
You know, as someone who has lost a parent, that really resonated with me. So
okay, well, I mean, I like how even though this episode was very heavy, that you and I are pulling different things out of it. I mean, that's
I'm pulling from Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice. Is that the full title?
That is the full title.
Or is that Justice League Dawn? No, I don't even know.
It's Dawn of Justice.
I forgot Wonder Woman was in that movie. I was like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah, but my point is that you started that because you were talking about Batman in this episode as well. And obviously,
yes,
the struggles that he's having. And going back to this episode, I thought that beginning, even though it was very heavy and it sets the tone for the episode, I thought it was very Batman. It sums him up really well. Like, he's in this endless crusade. He's doomed himself to fight in forever. Alfred tried to talk him out of it, and he's got all this self-doubt, and he's like, think about all the people you put away, the lies you say, but it's not good enough for Bruce. It's not changing his mind. And then Batman reaches for the roses to lay in Crime Alley, which means he's still continuing on, even though he knows that this crusade is probably going to end up with him being dead. He even says, the Joker, Two-Face, or some pump might get lucky later on.
That's my favorite line from the whole episode. I love that he's well aware that just some Joe Schmo can take him out.
Sooner or later, I'll go down. It might be the Joker, or Two-Face, or just some punk who gets lucky. My decision. No regrets.
Okay, so then we go to Batman and Leslie meeting in Crime Alley, and they basically have a nerd off and who knows more about philosophy than the other. Where she's like, Santa Ana says, and then he's like, but he also says this, so what now? Your move.
Yeah, but no, and I like that he does it with her, though. I think that's really nice. The voice actress has such a comforting voice, don't you think?
She does, yeah. Yeah.
Like
a real Aunt May type, right?
Yeah, imagine being a kid getting a bedtime story read by that voice. She should have done the voiceover for a Christmas special.
Oh, that's
something like
that's a
that.
good shout. I like that. Yeah. Santiana says, Merry Christmas to all.
And to all a good time.
Santayana says that those who forget the past are condemned to repeat it.
He also said a fanatic is someone who redoubles his efforts while losing sight of his goal.
We meet Willie and Monk in the alley, and they're two very random
it's
thugs.
Willie and Monk.
And Monk goes full Hannibal Lecter and tells Wizard that he's going to cut out his liver and fry it in a pan. Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whoa, this episode is dark. Like, we don't get that level of detail. Cut out is already like, cut out your liver.
With a knife.
And then he's going to fry it and he's going to eat it. That's fucked up. And then Monk is like interrogating Wizard and he's got an eye patch on. And I was like, what happened to your eye? Did fucking Monk eat it? Like, what happened to your eye, buddy?
A few gambling debts, it's paid. He ate my eye, so we're square.
If I was cornered by a guy with an eye patch and like a little like stout, like block of a dude who's telling me he's going to eat my liver.
Who would have been taller than you?
It's you. You're Monk.
Yeah, I'm Monk. Hey, you owe me $5. So you're Wobbs. I'm Monk.
And $5? You're gonna cut out my liver and eat it for $5?
You got that right. I got standards here. I let it slip $5 for you. Every Joe Schmo's gonna let it slip for $5. I gotta set a standard on you, so it's liver time.
The other guy's named Willie as well, and you're not that character.
He's Willie. What? Your name's Will. I'm Monk.
What happened to that guy's eye? You know. I ate it.
I was hungry.
Let's skip the pleasantries. What do you say? $50 now.
It's that, or I cut out your liver and fry it in a pan.
So I also noticed that Batman takes down Monk the same way he takes down the rooftop thug in Batman 89. He even flicks out his Batarang the same exact way as he did in the movie and throws it and then like pulls the guy's legs out from under him. So I thought that might have been a little ode there. And then I noticed that during the police raid on the warehouse, we see a new vehicle for the GCPD, which is a freaking like tank and a dump truck. Did you see this thing?
No.
It had treads, and it was like it was a tank with like a huge like dump truck at the back of it. And I was like, where was that toy when we were kids? That's fucking cool. I love that.
That would be cool. Oh, did they ever make the GCPD like SWAT van where it opens up like in the very Art Deco fashion? Like, did they make that?
No, they didn't. I know what you mean. It like opens like I think they were originally called suicide doors, which is now probably not a name you can use. But do you know what I mean? It was like the DeLorean doors in Back to the Future.
Suicide doors open the other way around.
Do they?
Not like this. They open this way.
Oh, okay. The wing doors. You know what I mean? Like the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
And did they ever make a toy of like the cool looking Year One inspired SWAT team of the Gotham
No, I would
City
love.
Police
I
Department?
would love the toy of the SWAT team.
Yeah, as a
Right?
as a kid, I've come to realize I loved military stuff like the GI Joes and like I used to have all these little SWAT toys, and I loved all the weapons and stuff. It's why I love like the Punisher and things like that. I love military stuff.
I also loved having like cops or military things and having Batman fight them. Like I love Batman versus the police. You know what I mean? There's something about that just is so cool to me. Like there's this organized police force that's obviously it's their job, and then there's this one dude who's like way better at it than them, you know, and it's not he's not being paid for it at least. I've always loved that aspect. So I would have loved some SWAT team members to like just fuck up as Batman as a kid with
Absolutely.
our toys. This episode tried to have a cool moment with Batman where his music plays and he heroically stands on the roof as an explosion goes off behind him. Well, what makes the scene very dark is the police helicopter that crashes and explodes behind him is full of cops. You can see them all in the helicopter, and it goes down behind Batman, and then bum 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 bum, I'm here to save the day, and then they just all die behind him in a fiery death. It's like, what about those guys, Batman? Where were you there?
They were dicks. I knew every one of them. They used to chase me when I was starting out. I think one of them's cheating on one of the other guy's wives, and he's like, he's into it. It's a mess. So I'm glad they're gone.
All the cops from the helicopter screaming, and he's just like posing for dramatic effect.
They're dead. Moving on. Like my parents are dead. Oh my! And Gordon might be dead now. Oh, Alfred's gonna die. He's old. Crow.
They were working for the Penguin, but now they're working for Firefly because they are burning alive.
Oh.
Well, what did you think about the raid on the warehouse scene with Batman taking out the
I love
thugs?
Him flipping down and like running on the side of the roof and chucking the balls in there. I like the big suits they're wearing and the shooting the Tommy guns. Like, it's classic mobster stuff.
That was my favorite scene of the whole episode, was Batman.
Me too.
Taking out that warehouse. Especially, I really liked when Jazzman like hops in the truck and Batman stops the truck by like looping a chain around the back grapple and then the chain is connected to the truck. I was waiting for like a truck flip from The Dark Knight or something to happen in that scene because I thought it was like it felt very similar to that. But yeah, I thought it was a great scene. And then Bullock spots a lifeless Commissioner Gordon on the floor, and we cut to a zoomed in shock face of Batman, which I've used for so many of our social media videos. I love that so much. And it just zooms in. It's
well, you've used
stuff.
a lot. The opening scene of this epised with him putting his hand in his face is like in half our videos. I'm surprised you haven't used the sad Batman walking around yet.
Well, I haven't had a need to yet, but we might now.
Where's the commish? He should see this. Commissioner? Oh my God.
What I was trying to figure out, though, is that Jazzman shoots Gordon, and I don't know when he had a chance to do that, because he gets tear gassed, and he gets out of the building before the tear gas, like, completely gets him. And then he gets in the truck, and then Batman hops in the truck, and they drive away, and they have the encounter, and the truck
Maybe
stops.
it was just when he was shooting the machine gun out the window.
Oh, that's a good point, I guess. Yeah. It's just the I don't know how far the truck went, because like where the truck crashed is where Gordon's body was, and I was like, how far away are they? But yeah, I guess it was when the whole like shootout was going on. That makes a lot of sense. And then I love that Batman moment when Gordon is in hospital. We have like a pan around the hospital room, and Batman just silhouette lands just outside the window. Also, very Batman 89, the way he lands slowly with his cape fanned out. I thought that was really cool. So that was my favorite moment of Batman in this. And then I loved the hospital scene where Gordon is being visited by Batman, and we get Barbara accompanying him, and Bullock blames him. Like, that's all great stuff. Great character continuations there with Bullock, and like, Bullock goes for his throat as well. Like, he's just like, this is on you. Why didn't you know it was a bus? And I was like, how is he supposed to know? And also, you don't want him to exist, and now you're blaming him for this? Like, I like Bullock a lot, but yeah, he was reaching in that one. Especially when Batman jumps like out the window and he's like,
This ain't over yet, outlaw! You hear me? You're going down for this! I ain't talking law! I'm talking you and me!
So you're gonna kill him? You're
gonna fucking whack him. I'm gonna whack you off, Batman. It's been a while.
I'm pretty sad. I could use that right now. I need the pick me up.
Oh no.
I was also thinking that the last time these three people, Barbara, Bullock, and Batman were in the same place together was when Bullock was a robot. And I thought maybe Barbara, like, she seemed very calm for her dad being in bed. this whole and like shot this whole episode. And I was wondering if she's like, well, if Bullock's here and Bullock was a robot last time, maybe my dad's still a robot as well. So I'm sure he's fine. It's a robot.
Could be. I've been here the whole time. I kept my little pet, little robot. This is a throwback. You have to listen to the podcast to know what we're talking about.
I was in Blade Runner.
I was in Blade Runner. I was also in, what was that Bruce Willis movie where he was in 1900s?
Last Man Standing.
Last Man Standing. I remember that being pretty good, but I haven't seen it since I was 12.
I was also in Deadwood.
I was in Deadwood, which was a very popular show. If you were over 30, you loved it.
It's not TV, it's HBO.
That's right.
Mine goes Kermit almost. I'm like, I'm already getting there.
He's not a robot, by the way. I checked. He's got a real dick.
I've seen it.
I checked thoroughly.
Nothing like a hot cappuccino and a foot massage. Now, let me show you my pride and joy.
Do you think Batman is? Do you think there's a toilet in the Batcave? Or like,
I don't think
I don't
so.
see one, right?
No.
Do you think Batman just like pisses off the side? That's a big wee off the side. This is why we don't have railings, Alfred, just so you get free. Jiggle, jiggling it. I do number twos as well.
Oh God!
Oh, wait, we do have a railing. It's just you hold off of it, you get squeezed real hard.
I'll have a number two face, sir. Ah.
What?
I want to poo on your face.
You want to poo on both sides of your face?
Oh, that joke didn't work out, sir.
Imagine if, like, fucking Alfred feeds you the fucking gazpacho, as he always fucking does. You're just sitting on the back of me, like, oh man, I need this shit. I've been down here for like 9 hours, and there's no toilet. You're just like, what are you, running up the bat steps? Like, hot, 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 hot. Just hold on to his ass. And then, obviously he's not going to make it. Alfred just sees, like, Batman sitting in the Batcave with the cape and cowl off, like, hey, how's it going? It's like, where's your cape and cowl? Bit of an accident with the gazpacho. Scrapso, and had to use the old back tape to wipe it up. And I didn't want you to clean it. I'm not gonna put you through that. So I chucked it down. I chucked it down the back cave, where we pee and often hear cats crawling and screaming. It's fine, Alfred. I got rid of all of it. He stands up. There's just a mega shit streak behind Batman, and it's all the way up the bat chair. I'm gonna go hit the showers. Like, yes, you do that, sir. I'll tidy up down here.
Poop again!
So the Jazzman jailbreak scene is very similar to the way Lex Luthor breaks out of prison in Superman 2, with the searchlights and being like snuck out in the laundry basket. I thought that had the same sort of vibes. And then the final confrontation between Batman and Jazzman was pretty good. I liked that it was on that window washing platform, and they were like scrambling up the side of the building, trying to get into Gordon's hospital room. And then we get that slow-mo sequence. What did you think of the slow-mo sequence in this?
Again, I was Googling still casting choices, so I missed that completely.
Oh, that's a shame, because the slow-mo sequence, in theory, is supposed to be this big moment where obviously Batman like stops the gun from being shot with his little bat ninja star, which we see again. We haven't seen that in a while, so it was cool that we see that again. But I just felt like slow-mo in this show just doesn't work. There's something about it where it didn't feel dramatic enough, or
slow-mo in a cartoon is strange because there's a choice to do that, right? Like,
yeah,
you could slow down time with people and see that it's slow, but in animation, it is a bit jarring.
Yeah, and that it kind of threw me. And also, the music in that sequence, it sounded very Matrix. Like, it was like, wah, wah, and it was this kind of like Matrix vibe to it. I can't describe the sound it made, but it sounded a lot like the music from the Matrix. And we haven't really talked about the music in this episode. It didn't stand out that much to me. Like, it's very somber and it does the job for this episode, but it's not something that, like, you know, I consider one of the better pieces of music for this show. And then this episode immediately goes up a level for me, watching that scene between Gordon and Batman. I think the voice acting and dialogue is really good, and the way Conroy delivers the line, "You are a hero, Jim," as he holds up Gordon's hand, is just... it did get me in the feels.
Is
it
that
really
a giant
did.
shit streak down that back costume? Oh, I put the wrong one on. Oh, no. Well, this is embarrassing. Gazpacho, huh? I've been there. More like a scrap show. It's a stretch, but you try and make a better pun. Yeah, scrapso, huh? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. I'm not going to do any better than that.
You were going to say gashitso, which is fine.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, scrapso is the best one.
And then at the end of this episode, Batman and Wizard say their goodbyes as he tells Batman that he saved his life, which is exactly what Batman needed to hear to shake
Except
him out
at
of
first,
his...
it was like, "Oi, whose fucking suitcase is that, mate?"
Yeah.
Not your bloody suitcase, is it? I don't know why I'm speaking like this. I'm going for a bit of a crisis, in it? Oh, Billy Butcher, fuck.
So I'm heading back home. And I guess I kind of owe it to you, Batman. You probably saved my life. I bet you hear this all the time. Look, I'm going to miss my bus. I'll see you around. And thanks.
But yeah, it obviously shook him out of his emo funk because he then is smiling like loads at the end of this episode. Wizard tells him he saved his life and he's like smiling. And then he like soars up to the top of the building, looks out into Gotham and is smiling still. I was happy for Batman.
Yes, another helicopter crashes full of crooked police officers.
And yeah, that's the end of this episode. Is Batman's midlife crisis is apparently over because a random Seth Green told him, "You saved my life."
Seth Green saved my life. I watch Robot Chicken every day before bed. And it's great. It dated. Some of the skits aren't very funny, but I watch the hits on YouTube.
Think about
Palpatine. Go for Palpatine classic.
Think how pissed off Alfred and Dick are hearing that Batman like shook out his emo funk because there was some random dude on the street.
So who got him out of the funk? Was it Gordon? Kind of. Alfred? Really? Alfred is old, like the person he knows the longest out of anybody? No, it was some kid called Wizard. The fuck? Who? Wizard. You know Wizard. A clean-shaven wizard. Wow.
Why do they call him Wizard?
Because he's like 20. What?
And he can steal things really quickly. So now you see it, now you don't.
Oh, that's a magician, but...
Who named
Dude,
him?
he's like totally wizard, man. Like one time, like he said, "Do you think I can drink this whole beer?" And before I said no, he fucking did it. Like it was sick, man. No, he said, "Now you see it, now you don't," but with a beer. That was wizard. He's cool, man. He might be the new Robin. Like Dick, you gotta step up. Like this dude's slamming beers. Yeah, he owes the mob money, which is kind of cool, you know. I'll pay him off. It's fine.
I don't know if that's his suitcase or not. I have no idea.
It definitely wasn't his suitcase, man. Wizard ain't got no case.
It said monk on it.
Dude, he had an eye patch on the other day. I was like, man, where you get that eye patch from, Wizard? You're crazy. He's helping me out a lot emotionally during this crisis. Here you go, here's your gazpacho, sir, and one for you too, Wizard, who is now staying in the Batcave. Hey, thanks, Alfie. Can you install the shitter down here? Christ, I don't want to keep shitting off the side. It's kind of fun though, isn't it? Yeah, a little bit.
He's like, "Hey, Batman, check it out. I'm whizzing."
Hey, what the whiz man is whizzing, bro? Oh, he's the best, all right? You love Whizman, right? Not really. He's a criminal. Whoa. so's Catwoman, all right? And we fucking bang on the reg. So if you ain't cool with the cat and the whiz man, then maybe it's time for both of you to go. Because last time I checked, this place is called motherfucking Wayne Manor and the Batcave. So, sorry. It's been rough. When I found out that Alfred has those goddamn roses were not the same roses that I left 20 years ago, threw me into a spiral, Different roses each time. Should have known. I'm the world's greatest. It's like I knew. I did know, but I didn't want to know. Whizman's like, I knew. Yeah, see, the Whizman knew. He's so cool.
So that's the end of the episode. As always, we go into our top three. If you're still listening, our top three are Almost Got 'Em, Joker's Favor, and The Laughing Fish. Buddy, does this episode dethrone any of those for you?
No.
No.
Episode the Whizman loves, Clocking. Oh, he says it's a classic. It's got good taste, the Whizman.
I would say that it came sort of close, and I can see why people absolutely love this episode, but it's definitely not in my top three. What would you rank it out of 10, though?
6.5 out of 10.
Whoa, lower than I thought. God damn.
It's my fault. I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, well, maybe we'll have to rethink that, because I want you to watch the episode rather than focus on who should play some random fucking character that shows up once. So
You shouldn't have me cast him then.
I was going to say that's on me. Ranking out of 10.
Should have cast the Whizmeister. That would have been way more fun.
I gave this an 8 out of 10.
Seth Green, because he's, young.
Oh my
You're
God.
casting Seth Green. What? He's like 48?
Still got it. Okay, rank out of 10 for me is 8 out of 10 for me. I thought it was,
so
it was still
it's
pretty
a 7
good
out of 10.
episode.
That's fine.
7 out of 10. Fit check.
By the way, I was re-listening to an old episode, and I did some math that was so wrong on one of the decimal things. And when I heard it in the shower, I was like, "You fucking idiot! What math are you doing? That's so wrong." And then also, I listened to the previous episode, and it was like, "Hey, future me, scrub your nuts," and I was actually scrubbing my nuts at the time it happened, and I cracked up laughing. So, hey, future me, you probably clean your ass out. I'm having a whiz, right?
Okay, fit check real quick. There's only one outfit change in this that we haven't seen before, which is Bruce rocking a red and grey bathrobe at his desk, or a pink and grey. I couldn't really decide what colour that bathrobe was that he was wearing. Salmon. There we go. That's the colour. He's rocking a salmon bathrobe at his desk.
Nice.
And that's the only fit check that I could see for outfits we haven't seen before. All right, next up, the episode we're going to review next is the episode Off Balance. Do you have any idea what that might be about?
Circus stuff?
No, I guess that's a pretty good guess. Off Balance has to do with a villain named Count Vertigo.
Oh, do you like Alfred Hitchcock movies?
Well, yeah, there's some of that to it.
Call me Count Rope.
And it will be the first appearance of Talia al Ghul in this show.
Okay.
So she's a coming. I don't know if I
so
like
is
that.
Bruce.
Very bad choice of words. So come back next week where we will review Off Balance, the first appearance of Talia al Ghul. We'll see you then.